A House of My Own, a story of boundaries and peace. My name is Jessica Martin. I'm 32, a financial advisor in Denver, living a life that's intentional, not extravagant. I don't chase designer labels or dine at fancy restaurants. My coworkers tease that I live inside a spreadsheet, and they're not entirely wrong. I track every dollar, earned, spent, saved, not out of stinginess, but because I believe money is the foundation of freedom. For a decade, I've lived in a modest one-bedroom apartment in the suburbs. The rent is affordable, the neighborhood quiet, and the landlords, a kind couple, gave me a below-market rate. Most days, I work remotely, sipping tea by a window with finance books stacked behind me, the sound of wind weaving through the trees outside. It's not glamorous, but it's peaceful. In a world that never slows, peace is priceless. I don't buy what I don't need. I eat out sparingly, never carry a credit card balance, and diligently save in 3 accounts: housing, investment, emergency. My dream has always been a small home, a cottage with a porch for a rocking chair, a backyard for tomatoes and basil. It's not just a house, it's freedom, built without debt or obligation. But what I didn't anticipate was that those closest to me would see my dream as a solution to their problems. I'm the youngest of 2 daughters. My sister, Amber, 4 years older, was always the star. With her golden curls and dimpled smile, she lit up every room. She sang in church, starred in school plays, and was the center of attention. If our childhood were a book, Amber was the glossy cover. I was the quiet pages in the back. Our parents never admitted favoritism, but it was clear in their glowing reactions to her, the photos of her dominating the living room while mine gathered dust in the hallway. Amber got a new bike for her 7th birthday. I got her hand-me-down. Her high school graduation was a lavish banquet. Mine was a quiet diner meal. She went to college out of state, fully funded. I worked through community college locally. Her wedding was a 200-guest extravaganza. I never expected such fanfare. Amber, now married to Matt, a civil engineer, lives downtown with their kids, Ellie and Brandon. Their apartment is cramped, the rent steep. At family gatherings, Amber complains about the tight space, thin walls, and constant traffic. I listen silently, the dependable one who never asks for anything. Over time, I stopped competing for attention, embracing my role as the steady, quiet one. But silence is an agreement, and being dependable doesn't mean carrying everyone's burdens. For 7 years, I saved for a house, a quiet rebellion against a life of being second. While friends took lavish trips or upgraded cars, I packed lunches, shopped with coupons, and drove my dad's old Corolla. I skipped beach vacations for camping in the Rockies, declined brunches to save another $40. Some called me extreme, even stingy. I smiled, knowing they didn't understand what it meant to always be the fallback. My savings were split: housing, investment, emergency. I read real estate blogs obsessively, dreaming of a modest cottage with a garden, not a mansion. One evening, I found it, a wooden house just outside Denver. It had a wide porch, raised garden beds, a greenhouse, and 2 small bedrooms. The kitchen, simple but bathed in morning light, felt like home. I had enough for the down payment, closing costs, and a mortgage buffer. It was everything I'd worked for. But at a Sunday family dinner, my quiet plan unraveled. Over grilled chicken and garlic bread, I mentioned I was house hunting. The room stilled. My mom's fork clinked deliberately. "By yourself?" she asked. "Yes," I said, steady but cautious. Amber leaned in. "A house isn't just for one person. Think long-term, family space." The air shifted. I caught a glance between her and Mom, a setup. The next evening, Mom texted about a 4-bedroom house in Maplewood, perfect for the kids. Amber sent listings for homes with massive kitchens and home offices, far from my vision of a quiet cottage. They weren't suggesting, they were planning. They wanted me to buy a house for Amber's family, to solve their cramped apartment problem. I pushed back, saying I wanted something smaller. Amber's reply: "Why?" 3 days later, Mom called about another listing, a house with a balcony, extra bedrooms for the kids. I clarified I wasn't planning for kids or guests. "Amber's struggling," she insisted. "They could stay weekends." It hit me. They saw my savings, my dream, as their solution. I refused to bend. The next morning, I signed the contract for the cottage. I didn't tell anyone until the keys were mine. On a bright April morning, I got the keys. The cottage was perfect. Cozy bedrooms, a sunlit kitchen, a weathered greenhouse. I painted the walls, sat on the porch at dusk, watched birds nest. For the first time, I felt peace without guilt. I kept it secret for a week, savoring the quiet. At the next family dinner, I shared the news. I bought a house, I said. Silence. Amber froze. You already signed? She asked. Mom's voice trembled. You made that decision without us. Amber revealed they'd been eyeing the Maple Street house for her family. Dad called it a family duty to help. Mom suggested I should want space for Amber's kids. I cut in. I didn't buy a house for them. I bought it for me. The room shrank. Amber accused me of choosing solitude over family. Mom called it betrayal. Dad said I wasn't as strong as they thought. I stood, grabbed my purse and said, it's not about a house. It's about not owing anyone my life. I walked out, hands shaking but steps firm. Back at my apartment, my phone buzzed relentlessly. Calls, texts, guilt trips. Mom, don't let pride ruin everything. Aunt Marilyn, your mother's heartbroken. I ignored them, letting the silence of my soon-to-be former home steady me. I moved in 2 weeks later, sharing the address only with my lawyer, movers, and 3 friends. Peace wasn't given, it was protected. 3 weeks later, Amber appeared at my door with Ellie and Brandon. No bags, just tired eyes. I wasn't sure I was allowed to knock, she said. Ellie whispered, Mommy said if we were good, we could see you. Amber admitted, I was wrong to assume I had a place in your life. I didn't invite them in, but I didn't shut the door. Ellie added, you're stronger than all of us. My throat tightened, not pride, but recognition of a child seeing through adult mistakes. Days later, Amber texted, I'm looking for a new job. Not asking for anything, just letting you know I'm managing. She quoted my blog. Everyone deserves a fresh start, but you take the first step. It wasn't an apology, but it was growth, quiet, real. I exhaled, not in defense, but in peace. Now my house is quiet. Tomatoes sprout, basil thrives, mornings are calm. I drink tea on the porch, no longer shrinking to fit others' expectations. Family isn't blood, it's respect. Those who knock before entering, who grow with you, not over you. If you've ever felt guilty for choosing yourself, know this. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're wise. Protect your peace.